In today's video, I share my attempt at recreating Droff's Matchless Laurel Canyon tone from the 440 Sounds interview on the Line 6 HX Stomp coming out. Hello and welcome to the video. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Justin and I'm all about worship guitar, helping you sound and play your best with Jesus. If you want to support these videos and my ministry, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell notification button. If you've met before, welcome back. Quick note, we're in my message study today because COVID-19 has hit my home and everyone has it, including me. People need the bedroom for rest, so here I am. Prayers for healing and recovery are appreciated. Let's jump right in. It can be hard to have a definitive Droff Helix patch because of the multitude of gear featured in Droff interviews and rig rundowns. I've come to the conclusion that there can be no such thing as the Droff patch, but instead multiple patches that capture the nuances of individual rigs as they appear. Shameless plug, this is good news for Droff pack owners because that means I'll always be updating the folder when inspiration strikes. I recently watched the 440 Sounds interview, which I really enjoyed. You get to hear Droff's history, experiences, and perspectives in ministry, and the crowning moment of the video, hearing Droff play through a Matchless Laurel Canyon, which captures the essence of his modern era tone. I'll go through my thought process in recreating this on the HX Stomp with a dynamic tone crafting approach, which I mentioned in an earlier video. In the video, we're able to hear 3 samples of the Laurel Canyon: clean, fuzzed, and overdriven, noting that Droff front-ends the amp with all his effects from his pedalboard. Due to DSP limitations and the fact that I don't really like fuzz tones in general, I'll focus on the clean and overdriven tones. Firstly, the clean amp tone. How do we describe the Matchless Laurel Canyon? Here, I'll borrow from Bradford of Worship Tutorials.
The Matchless Laurel Canyon is their first 6v6 based amp. Typically, you're going to get some more warm, round, Fendery kind of tones out of that. But when Matchless does it, it still has that chime and that breakup and that grindy, glossy, shimmery thing that you've come to know and love from Matchless, but your cleans are nice, warm, and round, almost a little scooped kind of, sort of.
A Fender-like warm bottom end on clean with Matchless chime and clarity when driven. That's a lot to ask for in an amp, so I did a couple of things. I mono-blended 2 similar amps but tuned the EQ differently, a Matchstick Channel 2 and an SX A15. The Matchstick provides a general matchless character, while the SX A15 provides a boxier bottom end. I then loaded a single 2x12 silver bell cab with the R121 ribbon mic, which is obviously different from the 1x12 cab of the Laurel Canyon, but the bigger cab and ribbon mic provides the warmth to the bottom end while retaining the chime and clarity. In a slight deviation from my usual EQ practice, I used a 10-bend EQ to cut at 4 kHz while boosting at 1 and 2 kHz, which brought me closer to reaching the same hair and bite of the overall tone when Droff plays the Scratch Penguin. This slight EQ boost curve will also be helpful to offset the mid-scoop from the overdrive, which we'll get to in a second. Secondly, the overdriven tone. Droff's overdrive sounds are achieved by pushing a clean to mildly broken up amp with an overdrive pedal. On the video, you can hear the drive has a smooth character but remains articulate for big chords, reminiscent of the days of the Maxon OD820 on his pedal board. As such, I went with the Hedgehog D9, which has a mild mid-scoop characteristic of the Maxon SD9. The EQ curve introduced earlier will compensate for this. Thirdly, the rest of its effects. As I'm limited on DSP and I wanted some flexibility as to swap out effects if I needed to, I went with some DSP light effects like the Deluxe Compressor and the Glitz Reverb. The only effect that's consuming slightly more DSP is the Vintage Digital Mono Delay, which I've tuned to sound like a Strymon Timeline's digital machine. Full disclosure, I'm not entirely sure how the other effects in the pedal board sound like precisely through the Laurel Canyon, as the wet effects are most audible on the Benson Earhart snippets of the video. I'm making educated guesses based on earlier demos like with reverb.com. And now to put all this into context with the track. Which brings us to today's bonus. If you like what you're hearing and want a Sunday-ready version of the patch, it's available for download at my Buy Me a Coffee page from the Droff pack, linked in the description box below. You'll get all my patches from my previous videos, including the vintage Droff patches that were inspired from his early 2000s tones. Do save the download link after purchase, as you'll get updates just like today's patch for free. Question of the day. How are you getting Hillsong or Droff tones on your modeling device, and which are your favorite patches for Hillsong tunes? I'd love to hear your stories, ideas, and thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for me. Thanks for watching this video. If you got a value out of it, like it and share it with someone whom you know is interested in tweaking Nigel Hendroff tones on Line 6 devices. You can also catch my previous video here where I share how to tweak vintage Droff tones from his earlier years, so head on over and see you there. Until next time, I'm Justin, and I'm all about worship guitar.